Peace, family. This is your brother, as you can see above, Agent 2020, and you are tuned in to Clear Vision Conversations. Well, this is going to be a two part, or more discussion on exploitation. And today's example of exploitation is Charlie Kirk. Everybody, I just say this as a disclaimer. Everybody's entitled to their own opinions. No one's entitled to their own facts. You can use facts to support your opinion, but you can't create a fact out of your opinion. Okay, so let's just make that absolutely clear right now. So everything that I'm about to express today are thoughts of Clear Vision Media, Clear Vision Conversations, and Agent 2020. So I didn't just come up with this in a vacuum or anything like that. So, Charlie Kirk, very controversial man, okay? Said some things that a lot of people didn't like, said some things that a lot of people didn't agree with, said some things I didn't agree with. But being in America, we have the freedom of speech, which it seems to me now is kind of being suppressed and pushed to the side by this government on behalf of Mr. Kirk, and Mr. Kirk not being able to be, let's say, challenged, even though he's not here. He was being challenged on a regular basis when he was here, and he invited that. And I can respect that as a person who wants to have these type of discussions, as he did, going to these different college campuses and different places, having these different conferences through his company, Turning Point USA, and allowing the people to speak their mind, and then them having this dialogue, back and forth dialogue. Sometimes he used that dialogue, in my opinion, to try and ridicule some, possibly even make them look like they didn't know what they were talking about. But all in all, he brought the conversation, which was fine. No problem with that. Okay. The problem that I have now, and very concerted effort to not be able to quote his words, not be able to criticize his opinions, and not being able to speak on him in any way, shape, or form other than in a respectful manner, per se. So, the exploitation part with me, this is where it comes in with me. It comes in with me when you are a public figure, and the way that he was taken away from his family, the way he was taken away in general, wasn't a good way to be taken. No one should have to die in that sense of the word. But his taking has created a whole new atmosphere right here in the United States and in other places, from what I'm hearing over in the UK too. Like I said, these opinions, this viewpoint is strictly the viewpoint of Clear Vision Media and Clear Vision Conversations. his being used, and explicitly him being used by this government, by any state or local legislature in this country, as a means and a way to enforce any type of censorship, to either censure or shut down any type of speech, whether it's comedy, whether it's governmental, whether it's personal, whether it's opinionated in this country, is what I consider exploitation. They're taking his likeness, they're taking his likeness, they're taking everything about him, and they're using it to go after people. Now you have to ask yourself this question and be honest about it. If he was still here right now and that happened to somebody that he knew, what do you think he would say? How do you think he would react if he knew that somebody that he probably thought was important got took away from the planet, returned to the essence, and then they were used to start suppressing certain things like free speech, the right to an opinion, just the fact that you should be able to say how you feel about something without somebody attacking you, making you lose your, causing you to lose your job, get fired, get your channel taken off of different types of media, censored in the American government, and a few other things that's happened. A lot of people over the last couple of days have lost their jobs because of their actual opinion of this man specifically. Whether it's good or bad, no, I ain't gonna even say that. If it's bad, they're getting fired. If it's bad, they're getting fined pretty much. If it's bad, they're getting doxxed. They're getting their channels took. They're getting censored. All of these different things, all at the same time. I really, truly do believe that this is an actual attempt to exploit this man and what he stood for being done starting at the highest echelons of government. We're going to start with the president and we're going to move on down. Speaker of the House, Congress, House of Representatives, the Senate. You know, there are people in these places that were what you would call Turning Point USA babies. There are people in local, state governments that are Turning Point USA babies. They've been listening to this man since he's been on his platform talking like he's been talking. Now, taking into consideration, Charlie Kirk was only 31 years old. Being that he was 31 years old, hold on real quick, family, hold on. Okay. Being that he was 31 years old, that means he was born in 1993. From 1993 to 2025, there has been a lot of different changes in the world. Some of these changes started when he was a baby. Now, taking into consideration his first 7 years, a lot of things happened between 1993 and 2000. Go look that up. All you got to do is go look it up. Don't take my. If you got AI, quote unquote, Chat GPT, whatever, just ask Chat GPT to do a timeline of events that happened between 1993 and 2000. 2000, he was 7 years old. Okay. From 1993 to 2000, that's 7 years. 2007, from 2000 to 2007, that was another 7 years. So by the time 2007 came around, he was a teenager. Now, you know what happened the next year when he turned 15? Barack Obama was running for president. Now, I don't know how much he disliked Obama. If he did, I don't know if he had a problem with his politics. I don't know. He was a teenager. Okay. So Obama's first 4 years in office, 2008 to 2012. 2012, Turning Point USA began as a corporation or as a company that was, and he was targeting the youth to get involved in politics. But he was targeting the youth to get involved in politics on the right because he said, let me not say he said, it's been said that his favorite president was Ronald Reagan. That in itself says a lot. It's been said. Now, I heard him say this, that he followed Thomas Sowell. If you don't know who Thomas Sowell is, go look him up. But my opinion of Thomas Sowell is this. Thomas Sowell was the type of person who gave a lot of outs for this country to do the things that they did. He did a lot of explaining. He was an economist, a black economist who was Republican right-leaning. And in my opinion, and this is my opinion, he gave a lot of people the ability to have no accountability and no responsibility for any of the actions that they committed. The ancestors of all of our people, just to be absolutely clear so you'll know, there were timelines. There were things that were happening in certain parts of our history. And when I say our history, I mean the human family, not just black and white, the whole human family. There are time periods when certain things were going on. You know, you had certain ideologies, you had certain ways of thinking, you had certain ways to govern. All of these things were evolving at different times. So now that we're in 2025, Charlie Kirk is being exploited. And nobody's saying anything. They don't have a problem with it. They're taking advantage of this man to the point to where, you know, it's okay to remember him. Don't get it twisted. It's okay to remember him, but don't use him as a tool, because you know how the system of white supremacy is. When they get finished with their tools, they usually break them. I don't think they're going to break this one. I think they're going to continue to use this tool for as much as they possibly can. And the tool is the death of this young man. Now, whether I agree with him or not, that's not even the issue. The people who really love him, truly cared about him, and thought that he was really a good person should be kind of appalled right now by the way that they're using him to further some type of agenda that they have, to further some type of plan that they have. Them using him to do that, I think that's cheap. That's really cheap. For him to be as important of a figure as he was to a lot of people, for him to have as much of an impact on the nation, you know, on the college campuses with the children, And when I say children, I'm talking about between the ages of 18 and 35. We're going to say 18 to 30. Well, yeah, let's say 18 to 35. Had a lot of influence on these children coming up. But Turning Point USA was an organization. It was an organization, and it was almost like a corporation. Okay, they had staff, they had people who worked for them, they had advocates, all of that. And this was his idea. I got to give it to him. It was a good idea. He got the youth involved. Now, whether he got the youth involved in the right way or whether he got the youth involved in his way, I'll leave that up to the people to determine that. That's not something I can determine. What I can say is the fact that he's being used like he's being used is not good. Donald Trump is not good. Glenn Beck is not good. Glenn Beck said that he should have his own street. There should be a Charlie Kirk Boulevard. Since there's a Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard, there should be a Charlie Kirk Boulevard. Okay. Now, Dr. King was a victim of political violence. He was assassinated, as we now know, not by just James Earl Ray. He was assassinated as a government plot. Now I ain't gonna even say conspiracy. It was a government plan because the conspiracy's been proven and it's not a theory anymore. This thing with Charlie Kirk is still kind of like an open wound for the country right now. Some people care about it, some people don't. The people who don't, maybe they should find different ways to express that other than the way that they've been expressing it. That's my opinion. The people who do care about it, maybe you should be expressing it a little bit better than what you're expressing it now. Once again, that's my opinion. There shouldn't be people getting jumped on at Charlie Kirk visuals. If you have a problem with this man, don't go into a crowd of his supporters and try to spray paint over a mural that they put up. Don't do that. There isn't any need to do that. You know, what a lot of people don't know is every year they shoot at the sign of the city where Emmett Till was killed. They go to the grave site and they shoot at the headstone of Emmett Till as well. It's a lot of different things that's going on in this country right now. So I'm feeling like we need to start doing some reevaluation. We need to start doing some proper thinking. You know, there shouldn't be there should be a better way for us to have this conversation. Let me say it like that. Without any type of vitriol, but we should be able to use the facts that are actually out there. If it's anything we say, yeah. If it's recorded, we should be able to use that. We're having a discussion to try and understand. Some things don't need to be understood. Some things are already known. Most of the time, a person's stance on something, that's already known because they tell you. You know, it's not just how they feel, it's probably what they believe. And a person who really feels that way, they will have a platform that they stand on and will be able to explain that platform in a way that the other person can understand. So now that we're at this point, I'm imploring the family of Charlie Kirk as well as the people who really did truly love and care about him to reevaluate what you guys are looking at. Because it seems to me like it's a very, very, very heavy exploitation going on right now with this young man and the fact that he's no longer with us. A very heavy exploitation. We're not talking about just t-shirts. We're not talking about just memes and stuff like that with his name and picture or his name and his likeness or his family or anything like that. Now, one thing I do know that he probably wouldn't agree with, and that's him being compared to Martin Luther King Jr. I don't think he would agree with that, because he didn't look at Martin Luther King as the type of person that was worthy of any type of, I guess I could say, accolades, any type of positive reinforcement, anything like that. He didn't agree with that. He didn't agree with that at all. He said that he didn't agree with that. Putting him in a picture next to Dr. Martin Luther King he would probably be upset about that. That would probably be something almost close to an insult. Glenn Beck said he should be considered a civil rights leader. Charlie Kirk wouldn't have agreed with that. He wouldn't have agreed with being considered a civil rights leader. Charlie Kirk he considered himself a Christian, but he also considered himself a nationalist. He didn't put the two together like most people do, like most Christian nationalists do. They take God and guns and they put them together. Okay, let's just be honest about the situation. We already know Christian nationalists have a certain type of ideology. We already know about that. It's not hard to find it. You can go look it up anywhere. You can go look it up anywhere. But he wouldn't have wanted to be next to Dr. King. He wouldn't have wanted to be put in the same category as Dr. King. In no way, shape, or form. So the people who are saying that, see, this is what I think, what I will call a high emotional state right now, because everything is still fresh. It's only been 7-8 days since this happened, a little over a week. So things are probably still kind of fresh, but people are getting really deep into their emotions about everything that's happened, to the point where friends are no longer friends, family are having internal disputes, government officials are having back and forths as well. We really need to take a look at this. And I'm just consider Clear Vision Conversations as a voice of reason. You know, I listen to different people who talk about these things. Their voices of reason, they give context, historical, they give philosophical context to a lot of different things. And I listen to these people, and I have to take everything that I get as far as the information. I have to take it all in and give it some thought before I just say something. You don't just say anything just to be saying it, because you feel strongly about something. You might want to think a little bit before you just start talking. Because what usually happens is you talk with emotion before you talk with what we call rationality. Okay. Over emotional about things. Because emotions eventually they die down. And then you get presented with facts and you like, whoa, okay. Yeah, I think I need to go back and change that tweet think I need to go back and change that comment that I put up on Facebook or that meme that I shared on Instagram. Think I might need to reconsider that. Now, there's been a couple of times where I had to do that, and I'll be honest about it. No problem. Hey, look, if I was wrong, okay, man, yeah, I might have been a little emotional about that. Let me go back and change that a little bit. The words I used were, what I'm saying, kind of. But then at certain times, if that's how I really felt, then I won't change it because that's really how I felt. So I think we should give Charlie the same type of respect, and to the government, stop using him to try and silence people because he wouldn't have wanted that either. He went to these college campuses, got in front of a microphone, crowds, hundreds of people, sometimes thousands of people, gave them the opportunity to get in front of the mic, in front of his face, and give their opinion on something that he said, and he had an actual debate, conversation, whatever you want to call it, with them live in real time. So I don't think he will want people to be censored. I don't think he will want people to be silenced. Okay. I don't think he will want people to be fired from their jobs. He wouldn't want people to get their TV shows taken away from them. Jimmy Kimmel, Stephen Colbert. Trump did that because he didn't like them. He didn't support their view of him. But see, those people weren't Republicans or Democrats. They were outside of the scope. They just had an opinion, and their opinion was rooted in comedy. I mean, that's what we've been doing in the United States for a long time. Hey, didn't that start with Johnny Carson? Johnny Carson had late night, made fun of people, made fun of situations, had a comedic take to real life situations. Yeah. But since this president's come in, he just does whatever he wants to do. Now he's taking this man's death. This supposed to be a good friend of his. Had to take that with a grain of salt. And just start doing whatever he want to do with it. The Charlie Kirk Act. Really? Now, the family is still mourning at this point. The wife has lost a husband, but I'm pretty sure she knew what his stance was. And she told him, you're free to speak that. I don't have any problem with that. She didn't think he was going to get taken at this point, but she didn't have a problem with that. His baby girls loved him anyway. He was probably a totally different man at home than he is out here. He has certain beliefs, and his wife probably, I ain't gonna even say probably, his wife had to know about every one of the things that he believed in. She loved him for her own reasons, and she loved him for the man that he was. She did. His two children loved him because he was a father to them. This is just human stuff. But why aren't they saying anything about how his name, his belief, his platform, and everything that he stood for is being exploited right now to destroy people? I mean, do you really think that the liberals had something to do with him getting killed? let me say, I'm sorry, unalived? Do you really think that this could have been an emotional issue? He said something, rubbed somebody the wrong way. Now they want to take him out. Hell, let's even go. There are a lot of things floating around right now about why they think he was gone now. A lot of things. I'm gonna need y'all to do me a favor. I don't give plugs to anybody, you know. This is just for what I like to call general information. I'm gonna need y'all to go to YouTube, okay, and start looking up some names. One of those names, Candace Owens. Look at what she has to say about why she thinks this happened to Charlie Kirk. And Candace, for the record, you need to stop being scared. If you're going to make assumptions, don't just name the people that everybody is talking about. Name the names. Don't be scared. Say what you really want to say. This was your friend that got murdered. That's what you say on national television, in a public place. Speak on that. If you're going to say that such and such, these people might have had something to do with it, whoever, say their names. Don't be afraid to say their names now. Don't be scared now. Now is not the time to be afraid. When you feel as strongly as you do about something, now is not the time to be scared to say what you want to say. But go look it up. Look up theories on the unaliving of Charlie Kirk. Look it up. And for the record, everybody, whether they're government or not, whether they're political or not, if you are using this man's name and his popularity as an exploitation tool, you need to stop. You need to quit it. You need to cut it all the way out. Nobody wants to be exploited. Nobody wants to be used as a tool for any type of purpose, unless it's a purpose that they actually believed in and they want to allow you to do that. So, probably going to end this about right here. This is part 1 of the exploitation of Charlie Kirk. We're going to be talking some more about this here soon. Again, I'm going to bring some examples and some what they call receipts to the table so we can actually have the talk that we need to have. Bring some understanding to this, because nobody deserves to be exploited. Like I said, I didn't agree with everything he said. Okay. I know where a lot of the stuff comes from, and you know, I got some context that I can add to it. It's not to knock him, it's to give you another perspective. You know, and if it's something that deserves to be debunked, then yeah, it should be debunked. It shouldn't be it should be debunked. Bottom line, period. No matter where it's coming from. So let's just try to be a little bit more civil about how we do this. Let's try to be a lot more down to earth and what I would like to call human about this, because we always have a tendency to fall on the worst part of an individual. We should be trying to fall on the best part. If they got a best part, we should be trying to fall on the best part of that person, not the worst part. If they don't have a best part, maybe we should try to understand where that worst part came from and why it's there like it is, you know. So in the next part, we're probably going to be getting off into his background, finding out where he came from, you know, how the things were looking as far as where he came from, you know, get some context to how he feel, why he feels the way he feels. All right. This is your brother, 2020. Clear Vision Conversations. Like, share, subscribe to the channel. Got some videos on there y'all might want to check out. If not, you know, got some music y'all might want to check out as well. Just type in what you see above my hat right there, and you'll be able to find me on all streaming platforms. This is your brother, 2020, and you have been tuned into Clear Vision Conversations. Peace.